So what are the 4 keys to being a great leader? Hi, I'm Brett, and we're going to go over leadership today, and we're going to go over 4 keys to being a great leader. If you follow these 4 keys, you're going to be on your way. So let's get started. If you've read my writing or you've watched some of my other videos, you know there's probably one thing that I'm obsessed with more than anything else, and that's team. The power of having a great team around you allows you to scale to great heights regardless of what you're trying to do. And it's especially true when we're trying to lead people. Try and lead a B-level or C-level team versus trying to lead an A-level team. The difference is astounding. It's incredible what you can achieve when you have a great team around you. If you have mediocre people around you, I don't care how great a leader you are. Guess what kind of results you're going to get? It's going to be mediocre. So focus on having a great team. That's going to make you a great leader. Don't believe that suddenly you're so good and you're so smart and you're so incredible that you can get by with mediocre people. You can't. You need that great team around you. That's the most important thing. The second key to being a great leader is you don't need to have a certain personality to do it. Any personality will work. The key is just to be you. So for example, you can be an introvert and be a great leader. You can be an extrovert and be a great leader. You can be a technologist and be a great leader. You can be non-technical in a technical company and be a great leader. You can be a storyteller and be a great leader. The combinations here are endless of what you need to be a great leader. It does not matter. There's only one key. And if you violate this one key, regardless of your personality, regardless of your expertise, this is when you're going to fail. And that's when you're not true to yourself. If you're not authentic, and you're not honest, then your smart team around you is going to recognize it. When you try and be something that you're not, your smart team is going to recognize it. And they're going to call you on it. And you're either going to recognize that you're full of it, or you're going to keep on with the charade and you're going to lose your team and you're going to lose the respect. So be true to yourself. Be honest about who you are. Be honest about what you're not. If you're not technical, it's okay not to be technical. There's a reason your team joined. They're not stupid. The technical people understand you're not technical. If you're not a great marketer, don't try and be a great marketer. Hire a great marketer and learn from the great marketer how to be a great marketer. That's what great leaders do. They understand what they are, they understand what they aren't, and they're okay in their own skin. So here's one other story I want to tell about this, and that's an old story. If you remember when Steve Jobs died, and there were a lot of articles after Steve died about, Steve wannabes, but I remember this one article that I read, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, about this one Steve Jobs wannabe who wore the black mock turtlenecks that Steve Jobs did, just because he wanted to be like Steve Jobs. He was going to show, oh, I'm like Steve, I even wear his clothes. Elizabeth Holmes, by the way, did the same thing at Theranos. She tried that same uniform at Theranos. And look what it did for her. Be authentic. Be true to yourself. That's the messenger. I think the other guy, he failed too. Maybe not as spectacular as Elizabeth did, but he still failed. So anyways, be true to yourself. That's what matters. Number 3, there are 3 key attributes to being a great leader. And I'm going to go over them with you right now, okay? The first one is they are clear in their communication and in their thinking. You can't get people to follow you unless you're a clear thinker. And this becomes really, really important as your company continues to scale. Because think about it, now things get more complex suddenly. We have multiple layers of management. We need to make sure that the communication is clear and the communication is simple between the layers of management. I'm going to tell you another Maxim story because I like these stories, and Jack Gifford certainly, he was a character. to say the least. And he had a very unique management style. And he had this thing he used to do when he would talk to you, and he would give you a direction. I would never do this because I think it's just so offensive, but he got away with it because he had a unique combination of charisma that allowed him to do various things that really are against kind of management credo, so to speak. But this is was one of Jack's favorites. Was he would say to you, okay, I want you to do X. And then you would say, what did I say? Tell me what I said. And there's a reason that he did this, even though it was very annoying and obnoxious that he did this. He did it because he wanted to make sure that you understood what he asked you to do, because he knows that you're going to go communicate this to other people as well. So he was very clear on what he wanted, and he wanted to make sure that you got it. And this is what you need to do as well. Don't use his style. Use your own style that works, but make sure your team understands it. Make sure that direction is really clear. Make sure they got it. So ask them, I just want to make sure. Tell me what I said. I want to make sure that you understand exactly what we need to do here if it's something critical, because it's like the game of telephone. It's going to change from layer to layer of management, yet if we make it really simple and clear, it's not likely to change as much. That's what we want to do here. It should be simple and obvious what we're for and what we're against. We want to make sure everybody understands, here's where we're going. For example, let's say we're a high-end business. We're after high-end customers. We're not after cheap business. That's the way that you do that, and you be relentless in your communication about this. And you make sure everybody on the team understood this relentlessly, clear in our messaging. We're going to walk away from that low-margin business. We're okay with that. That's what we want to do. We want to make sure that communication is really, really clear. Then finally, what else do we do here? The fifth piece of advice here, we practice, 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 practice. This is how we get better. We just continually practice this. We're relentless in our practice. And our practice, again, our habits rub off on everybody else. Everybody follows our lead. Everybody sees what we do, and they're going to mimic it. So if we're practicing and we're relentless about this, other people on the team are going to be the same way. The second piece here is they have good judgment about people. Now, nobody's judgment is perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but more often than not, we get it right because we understand we need more leaders in the company. We're going to need future leaders if we're going to grow, because at the beginning, right, it's just you and maybe a co-founder or two. It's easy to communicate. It's easy to divide and conquer up the work. But as you go from that 1 or 2, 3-person team now to a 10-person team, it gets a little more challenging. Then when you go from 10 to 20 to 30 to even 100 people, it gets more challenging because now suddenly we've got layers of management in place. So we're going to now need managers to manage all these various things. If we've got a team of 100 and we're following what I call the rule of 7, which means the maximum number of people any manager is going to have to manage is 7. Well, do the math there. That's going to be about 13 managers now you're going to need in your company to manage all these various people. So you're going to need various layers of management as time goes on. When you get to 1,000 people, now suddenly it's 130 managers you're going to need. That's what happens. So you constantly have to be recruiting managers. You have to be looking for management talent in what you do. And you have to be teaching and training to build managers in your team. All part of the process as we get bigger. Finally, the great leaders have strong, high levels of integrity. They don't show favoritism. They are all about being fair. They hold themselves to a really high standard because they recognize with integrity that it's not a game. You can't turn integrity on one day and then turn it off the next. You consistently have to show your integrity at all times. So they do this, they relentlessly practice it every single day, and they don't show favoritism to various people in the company. That's a key to being successful as a leader. Finally, the best way to measure a leader's success is the trust that they generate around them. think about it. If I'm leading a group of people, or you're leading a group of people, even better, you got to be able to trust the people around you, and they have to be able to trust you, because they're not going to follow you if they can't trust you. So this is really a critical final step in your ability to be successful is, does your team trust you? Do they believe in you? Are they going to follow you when things go wrong? This is all part of it, and all part of being a great leader. Somehow or other, leading during adversity. And this is the real key to knowing whether you're a great leader, because I guarantee you this: adversity is going to hit you. It's going to hit your company at some point, in fact, multiple points during your journey as a CEO. And it's going to hit at the worst time imaginable. It's what always happens. And you're going to need to rally your team around you. You're going to need to lead them through the abyss. And the question is going to be, is your team going to follow you? And it's going to be all these other things that you've done along the way. All of your integrity, all of your focus, all of your leadership skills are going to come right here to the forefront. And this is when it all pays off for you, is during these moments of adversity. And that's when you know your team is going to follow you. And that's when you know you're going to be successful. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Have a great, great day.